Good to go.
All right, welcome to another Pro Football Doc Sports Injury Central podcast here. Um, Congratulations, new dad Taylor.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All righty, let's go. Lots going on. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but is it just me, or there seems to be, I keep saying that over at least half the teams will have a key starter or key player injured in the preseason, and we're probably up to a third of the teams already, and we're not even that far into it.
All right, Doc, you're scaring me because I feel like we're pretty close to a half, and like you said, it's only week one of preseason. We might get to a point that it might be over, halfway point pretty soon. Just how many like you said, significant starters that are going on right now.
Well, my point is, you're a lucky team if you don't have one,
Right?
and yes, they're dialing back on preseason games. Although playing time has increased a little bit, it seems like this year, and joint practices. And look, Landon Dickerson got hurt in practice. It wasn't even a joint practice. It was a public practice at the link yesterday. I'm sure we'll cover all that. Lots of things there. We'll move on. Where should we start this week?
Well, yeah, like I said, we have a lot of week one injuries, Doc. I just want to prep too. We finished a lot of our data team scores in the last couple of days. So when you buy SIC data, we'll have all our team injury scores, which is very key, very helpful for when you're doing information scouting for fantasy drafts, etc. NFL futures props we already released, Doc. College football futures also released. We're gonna go do some win totals as well. A lot of stuff coming at SIC picks, right, as well.
And the SIC team for futures has been what, 77%?
Yes, we're 11-3 or 11-4 the last 3 years on just win totals alone. Yes, so that's been very, very good for us, Doc. And we're constantly doing daily MLB and WNBA. Before I want to do an injury, Doc, before we jump into football and everything, this might be one of the first times we jump into a NASCAR injury. I want to prep this before we get everybody jumping into this podcast here. So there's three. I had to do a little information myself. There's three types of like series. There's like the Cup Series, there's the Truck Driver Series, and there's a thing called the Xfinity Series. The kid that got hurt, Connor Zilisch, he is number one in the Xfinity Series. They released the injury he had now. Tell me what you saw and how it concurs with what happened.
Well, yeah, apparently that kid's very good. I have a little bit of experience with car racing. Treated some athletes. Including, I guess, I'm not sure if I can say, I think I can say who, because it was public information. Greg Biffle, fractured wrist. He raced in 2 weeks after surgery on a fractured wrist. These guys are tough. When this kid fell, there was a lot of social media play among the guys who know, because they know he's a really good up and coming rising star. And Xfinity, I don't know if you want to call it AAA. I don't.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good racing. People pay attention to it, kind of deal. And I do know racing a little bit, not only from treating Greg Biffle back in the day, but a lot of the X Game guys go on to racing. In that world, et cetera, different types, from the Travis Pastranas to the Brian Deegan and family, et cetera. But anyways, when he fell, there was a lot of social media play from people who didn't know, because it looked silly. It was the field goal kicker celebrating and tearing his ACL, right? It was, I mean, he climbed on the roof of his car, slipped when they sprayed it with whatever it was, champagne or whatever, and he took a serious header. I mean, it was a good one. Now, the moment of impact, the camera didn't catch it, but he broke his collarbone and probably had a concussion as well. It's thankful that he didn't, break his ankle in the car door window or in the restraints kind of thing. So, in some ways, he got off lucky. He's a definite rising star, or I guess star. He's 19 and he's leading the Xfinity Series. Now, he's going to be fine. The question is when. Surgery, plating. Look, I've had an NFL guy return after missing 4 weeks, a running back. This is auto racing. Is it easier to race a car or play NFL running back? I would say the neither is easy.
Yeah.
But the forces, if you were to get into a car wreck, are certainly greater than that of an NFL running back. But the constant, you're going to get hit in the NFL. Hopefully, I mean, and quite honestly, driving a race car is not easy, but
Right.
knowing as tough as these guys, I said plus minus 6 weeks. I would take the under on that. I think with the sponsorship and the money and whatever, yes, I get it. Some Tour de France guy, 10 days, something like that. Yes, but he's not expected to fall, right? Kind of thing. It's still very heroic. I guess in NASCAR, you're not expected to crash. Looking at that, I'll take the under. Travis Pastrana raced with a broken foot once. I helped him with that. But that's a foot. That's a different thing. I expect him to be well under 6 weeks in terms of return after surgery. How much under remains to be seen. And who knows, maybe because he's 19, maybe the sponsors will hold him back just to make sure that he's extra safe. But I still expect him to be under 6 weeks after surgery. But a serious injury, a very unlucky fall. I mean, he handled it well. He owned it. He said, yeah.
Collarbone.
Yeah. He said, by the time I realized where I was being hauled off on a stretcher. Broke my collarbone, right? Very, very unfortunate. Maybe he needs a new shoe deal, with better traction so that he doesn't slip off the roof of the car.
It's like a Zion situation, right? Going on the other age, completely other side of the age spectrum, Doc. Another freak accident that happened in an old timers game for the Yankees was Mariano Rivera tearing his Achilles. This is another significant injury happened. He did right before he retired. He injured his knee on Achilles on a fly ball, shagging a fly ball. So just imagine, Doc, sitting on your couch, being one of the famed Yankee greats, and then having to do an old timers game, tearing your Achilles. They said Derek Jeter. That's why Derek Jeter didn't want to play. He said something might bad happen. Apparently, he bowed out of the game. So,
well, Mariano Rivera, that's unfortunate. I would assume it's the other side. We know there's a bilaterality to the Achilles ruptures, and if you look at the video, I did tweet it. I mean, it looks like Dre Greenlaw standing there coming off the sidelines in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Oh, let's go. And that's all he did. Oh, let's go. The back step and it popped. To his credit, he got right back up. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, it might have been got right back up out of embarrassment. Like, oof, nothing to see here. And then he's like, uh-oh. But I don't know. I mean, I feel bad, unfortunate. What can you do? I mean, after this podcast here, my son wants to go to these workouts because his travel baseball coach you got to get bigger and stronger and work out. So now he wants to work out. So yes, my 12-year-old has a trainer.
He's at that age.
It's group classes, but there aren't a lot of kids. So it's almost on his own. And my wife said, instead of driving him there and waiting an hour, why don't you just work out with him? And I thought about it, but then after Mariano Rivera today, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Sit on this side.
Maybe I'll go take a walk, instead. I mean, maybe I shouldn't try and work out with the 12-year-olds.
Rivera's trying to tell you something, yes. All right, Doc, we're getting into the football season. I feel like every single podcast you do very well at like breaking down not just injury videos, but like significant stuff that happens maybe on the sidelines or on the field. How about both sidelines and field? Tell me your thoughts on what happened to CeeDee Lamb and the ref that ran into him on the sidelines there earlier.
I didn't see it till late, but you know what? That's a huge no-no. I mean, I get it. It was preseason, and it looked like he wasn't anywhere near it kind of thing. I mean, the NFL, I'm telling you, the NFL isn't going to like that. Safety, not only for CeeDee Lamb and players, but safety of the referee. The referee had no idea, right? There was a penalty assessed, as there should be.
Right.
I think CeeDee's probably going to get fined.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just to send a message. We all remember Mike Tomlin. Oh, get out of the way, but at least he didn't collide with the guy. And I get it. You think you're safe and away from the play, but head on a swivel. I think they're going to try and make that white zone infallible, et cetera. And we talked about earlier today, I forget the name of the player. Maybe it's a good thing that I forgot the name of the player because I'm not trying to call him out. Super Bowl, what number was it? Arizona Cardinals versus Pittsburgh Steelers. End of the first half, a goal line pick for the Cardinals is thrown, and James Harrison returns it 99 yards for a touchdown on the last play of the second quarter. I don't know what Super Bowl that was. Changed the game. I mean, 14-point turnaround. Even if you go back and watch that videotape, Larry Fitzgerald makes the tackle of James Harrison right at the goal line, and he falls into the end zone for a touchdown. Right. Time had expired. If Larry Fitzgerald tackles him on the 1 yard line, no points are scored as you go to half. And as Larry Fitzgerald is running down the sideline, he gets blocked out of bounds. He runs right into one of his own players standing on the white. The white stripe is like 2 yards wide. You're supposed to be behind the yellow dot behind the white, which is a good 4 yards deep. He ran right into one of his guys who admittedly was standing on the 30 or 40, 60 yards away from the play, just didn't move as the play came towards him. He got blocked into him, got knocked off pace. He would have tackled him at the 10 or 5. Instead, he tackled him at the 1, and he fell into the end zone and changed the game. Look that play up if you want. I mean,
Super Bowl 43, guys. End of the first half. Yeah, James Henderson. I will not say the player's name, James Harrison. I will not say the player's name either, Doc, because that was an unfortunate situation.
I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. It's just unfortunate. But you watch it, you'll see Larry Fitzgerald is doing his best. James. Okay, how is it that Larry Fitzgerald doesn't catch James Harrison in 99 yards?
Who's Jack?
The chances of that are 0.
Yeah,
unless they did a really good job blocking him, right? They did a good job blocking him, and they blocked him out of bounds. As he was pushed out of bounds legally, he ran right into his own teammate in full uniform, a defender standing there thinking he was out of the way. Larry Fitzgerald came to basically a complete stop and had to restart, and he still got him, but he fell into the end zone. So, I think players got to learn. I mean, but CeeDee, it wasn't intentional. It's not as bad as the Bears player who was taunting the crowd and then gave up the Hail Mary, right?
Tyreek Stevenson. Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. That was a James Dan. That changed their season too, Doc, because the Bears were somewhat, they were dealing with stuff, but they were kind of middling 500, and they just started losing after that, firing coaches, etc.
I don't know if that changed their season. That was an inflection point. Their season was headed that way, I think.
They got a little push from there. Commanders and
all good. Yeah. But I'm glad the referee wasn't hurt. I'm glad CeeDee wasn't hurt. And I didn't want to make light of the situation. I was gonna assign the referee and CeeDee Lamb a 6 score based on that play, but it's like, nah, he actually could have gotten hurt. I mean, let's not. I mean, that was a pretty good little collision. But I'll tell you another one this weekend. I saw Marshawn Lynch as a photographer, forearm shiver.
Oh, George Halani, the Seahawks running back. Yes, I saw that. Yes, yeah. He was trying to defend Ashton Jeanty because Ashton Jeanty went to Boise State as well. So they're both Boise State running backs. So he's trying to defend his Boise State running back maybe. But
no, he was just like, oh, he's coming at me. Let's stop him. I don't want to get run over. You know what? That's probably the only thing Marshawn Lynch and I have in common. That's what I did with
the Troy Polamalu, right?
Polamalu when he came over the sideline. Kind of the same thing. Troy was coming over hot. I had nowhere to go, so I forearm shivered to protect myself, thinking Troy was going to truck me, but Troy just cut right around me. It was like, what the heck? Looked at me funny, right? That was kind of like Marshawn Lynch there. So that's about all we ever have in common.
And I double-checked that for you.
Guy.
I remember double-checking that for you. That's on video. I remember looking to see that Polamalu play because you remembered exactly when it happened. So I was able to document it.
Oh, you actually saw it? I don't know.
Yeah, I showed it to you before. Yeah, I showed it to you. Yeah.
I only heard about it the next day because I don't think it was on the TV copy.
It was on the side coach's film. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, it was on coach's film. But the players all saw it in coach's film, and they all next time they saw him, they all came and high-fived me that I forearm sure they were giving me a hard time,
All right, Doc, let's jump right into these training camp preseason week 1 updates. The first one, we saw Sean McVay speak today. Matt Stafford had a workout on Saturday. They said there was no initial soreness, words, verbiage. Now we're going to him being Monday. He was expected to practice, not at practice today. What are you expecting just from what we've said already and what you're seeing now from Matt Stafford?
Nothing changes from last week's pod and Lightning pod. There's a range of a good case and a bad case scenario. There's a Phillip Rivers playing through it with epidural steroids. That was regular season. There's season-ending surgery for Tony Romo before he retired. He did come back the next year. It's somewhere in between that. I hope it's more towards the Phillip Rivers side, but it's not a nothing. But I don't know. Look, I think Sean McVay is awesome, but he's one of those coach speakers. He's done it before, and the coach speak is just rampant, even in the preseason here. It started with day-to-day, and then he backed off of that, said, I guess I was over exuberant there week to week. And then there was, he's going to practice, workout today, Saturday, practice this Monday, and now he didn't. And, why push Matthew Stafford if he has a disc issue? Be careful. And, look, he's going to get there. Look, is anyone going to worry if Matthew Stafford suits up for week one? I mean, no, you'd say good news. I mean, so let's not get too excited. I still think he has a reasonable chance. But the problem is when you're talking about disc and nerve issue, you don't know which way it's going to go, right? And so there's an unknown portion of it here. And Stafford's as tough as they come. We've covered it. And like we joked about and I tweeted about, the happiest people in the world are those people that put that trailer on the sideline, right? You got a lot of play.
Doc. Yeah, you have so much news and so much little news maybe that you're following Matt Stafford into an Airstream like healing chamber, right? That's going on right now. But that's what it is. I guess it's like a red light therapy kind of thing that you said, that they just put their little, their brand on there.
I will admit, look, I've never heard of it before. But when you Google it and look it up, and I'll bet it was trending on Google, or, I don't even know what it is. It says 10 different combinations of successful non-invasive thing. I don't know. I mean, who knows the latest hocus pocus, but I will say this. Someone paid good money. Yeah, of course that trailer was parked there, not just for Matthew Stafford. Yeah. That's called a marketing deal. Okay. If it was there just for usage, it would have been hidden in the back. You guys have to realize the NFL doesn't allow anything.
Right.
And training camp during the regular season, I mean, you can't have the world's most popular brace brand literally on a guy's elbow and the brand of brace showing. You have to black it out or tape over it or do something. Remember, you got the contracts with the shoe companies. You can't have an off-brand shoe. You got to spout over the top of it. If you have a sleeve or a thing or a logo on a headband or a wristband, you can't have it showing, right? The NFL controls all of that. But in the preseason, all the marketing deals are to the individual teams. That's why you will see, in San Diego, we saw it. UCSD Healthcare. I was a team doctor. I'm not directly part of UCSD, yet you had a UCSD Healthcare on the uniforms in preseason, in the regular season, and in practice, right? Practice and preseason, the team controls it. The team controls that area where that Airstream was parked. They allowed the logo. If it was just treatment, they wouldn't allow the logo on the thing. They paid for the logo on the thing, and whoever did that marketing deal is getting high fives right now and having some celebratory, popping some champagne for all the publicity they got over that. And the Rams, meanwhile, are going to charge double that next year for sideline sponsorship. Look, I'm not saying it's bad, but I can't tell you the number of times every single week we got sent something new when I was with the Chargers. Here's the latest. Here's the greatest, including the offseason. And the majority of time, it really wasn't anything significant. Some of the time, there was something that's okay, but we already do it. Right. Very rarely, maybe once a year, there's something, we might try that. But without fail, anytime we got sent something, in another couple of months, I'd see an advertisement. I get asked by somebody. They say you use this at the Chargers. Do you use it? I'm like, Well, they sent it to us 3 months ago. I don't know, for free. I don't know that we've ever used it, but it's marketing. You see NFL and you see a logo. Yes, it's marketing. It's not accidental. This is why on the sidelines, everyone drinks out of the Gatorade cup. You think it's always Gatorade? Even the water's in a Gatorade cup, right? And you're not allowed to have any other brand on this sideline. Back in the day when I said, when it's cold and we brought out chicken broth, we brought it out in Gatorade cups.
Yep.
That's all that's allowed on the sideline.
Right. That makes sense, Doc. Next one, Doc, I have on my list has been trending about is we actually at SIC spoke to him during the Super Bowl prelim interviews. Is Landon Dickerson? He had a left knee issue going into the Super Bowl. We were a little worried about him. He had recovering it through the offseason. Now they had open practice and he suffered a right knee injury. Tell me your thoughts. All the latest information has now been released also at SIC Score and in the media.
I think the biggest lesson on this is, I tweeted something that didn't really say a lot yesterday because at first we didn't have any video. I just said, there's worry, but don't judge by that he was carted off. Don't judge by Lane Johnson, his friend, was emotional. Don't judge by players on a knee. That's reaction to the injury. Let's judge the injury itself. And I said the fact that he's carted off in the front seat is a better sign, but it didn't rule out knee injury. Obviously, meniscus is knee injury. And right now, it's a, quote, meniscus injury. No one has used the words I've seen, meniscectomy or trim. It's been implied that it's trim because it's minor. And I think we've helped drive the conversation that meniscus repair versus meniscus trim. Meniscectomy is trim. Meniscus repair is entirely different. And I think if you look back, media in the past has said meniscus repair in the vernacular. He's having his meniscus fixed, meaning trimmed, quicker recovery. Meniscus true repair is much longer recovery. Think J.J. McCarthy, who missed all of the season last year with it from preseason. So meniscus, fixing the meniscus, there's true repair and trimming, meniscectomy versus repair. The implication is minor is meniscectomy. That's all they've said is minor. But as I've always joked, the only definition of a minor surgery and surgery on somebody else or on someone else's team, is the only thing that's minor. Look, you can argue meniscus repair is done arthroscopically and is not open and then thus is minor. So until I fully hear it's meniscectomy, the good news is they said he could be back for week 1. But we'll see. Is that coach speak or is that real? Right? The bottom line is at least the door is open that his season is not over. Right. And it seems to be a matter of when. To me, I don't think anyone in Philadelphia cares, including the Eagles, if he's ready week 1 or week 4. As long as they have him for the bulk of the season, and certainly for later season down the stretch, they're going to be happy. They're probably not going to rush him week 1. Right? I mean, he's had a history of knee issues on both sides, including, I believe, on the right knee, a previous ACL many years ago.
I was about to say, for him, they said some Philadelphia fans, they'd rather him play with one leg. He could probably still be a Pro Bowler, what you're saying on Twitter. Just like he's super tough. He has an ACL tear on each side. He was at Florida State for one and Alabama for the other. So he has ACL tears on both sides, and he had a knee injury even after that. So like you said,
he's tough as it comes, and he played through last year's Super Bowl with a knee issue. I would not write him off, and that's why we say once again, let's look at the analysis. Let's not judge by reaction to the injury. Let's look at the injury itself. And yes, I did not have a definitive position when some people on Twitter showed me the injury. Because sometimes I tweet and it doesn't post, and people got mad, but I don't know. I got to fix that on my phone. But in any case, the bottom line is sometimes what you don't see is as good as what you do see. When it's not definitive, sometimes it's better news. And this certainly is better news than season ending, like people were fearing. And, but I don't like saying it could be meniscus. It could be this, it could be that, it could be something else. Maybe it's better off sometimes being positive, saying we don't see a definitive X, Y, or Z that's season ending. So the season's not over. That's good news.
Something that was definitive, Doc. When you saw Anthony Richardson's finger this weekend, there was something definitely wrong with it, but not definitive about what it was per se. Some people said broken. What did you say, and what did we say at SICScore.com when you first initially saw the injury?
Well, you called me on it, and I might have been on my way down to Mexico. I don't know where I was, one last trip with the wife, whatever, before the grape stomping, whatever that she did. With it was good trip. Laceto, I think I'm saying it right. Winery, Valle de Guadalupe, the Wine Harvest Festival, whatever. It was a lot of fun with some friends, met some great people down there. But you called me with it. I was like, it's his pinky finger. He's fine. And I sort of blew it off. And I should be better than that. First of all, even though you see a finger completely crooked, most times it's not a break. It's a dislocation. Yes, there's a ligament torn. The second thing is, I didn't think it was that big a deal because he's going to be able to play through. He came out of the game because it's preseason. That's regular season. You could stay in the game and you can buddy tape it. And you don't really need your pinky finger very much. You can, I don't remember the circumstance, but I do remember several years ago, we had a quarterback get injured and it was his pinky finger. I don't remember who the quarterback was. And I was saying, you don't really need your pinky finger to grip and throw the ball. You can buddy tape, leave it off. You don't need control there. And I don't remember the quarterback. Maybe you can remind me. But you have the tweet where Matt Hasselbeck then said, at halftime, I went out in the backyard and threw. And yes, you don't really need your pinky finger. And Matt Hasselbeck, I think, was on ESPN at the time. I love Matt. I think he's awesome. And but yeah, I guess he's never thought about what happens to your pinky finger. And he confirmed that yes, you don't really need your pinky finger to be able to throw the ball. So not a big deal, Anthony Richardson, in terms of the pinky finger. I would argue less of a big deal, even though it's his throwing hand, than Justin Fields' toe injury. I'd say Justin Fields' toe injury, although everyone's not worried about it anymore, is still more of a deal than the pinky finger injury. But neither one's a big deal.
A real quick, Doc, I have something, just an ad read to say real quick. It's right now, it's finding great candidates for jobs is very hard right now. Going through resumes and stuff, everybody's very difficult, doing other jobs. It's hard to just focus on that. But now for ZipRecruiter, it's not hard at all. Finding amazing candidates for you in any task and job that you have right now for free at ziprecruiter.com/audio. You can start using ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter has great technology for finding roles, interns, anything for any task you have. They can connect you with top candidates as soon as possible. 4 out of 5 employees who post ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate. Try it for free exclusively at ziprecruiter.com. And I'll say it again, ziprecruiter.com/audio is where you can get the free ZipRecruiter try. Now, Doc,
we had a couple of new interns and hires this year. We should have used ZipRecruiter there. Now, that's all part of our Believe Network sponsorship. We love Eric, who runs the Believe Network, and we hope to do more with all the different podcasts. They have every team out there for Believe, and we're glad to have ZipRecruiter and give them a try.
Absolutely. Just like right now, Doc, maybe a ZipRecruiter for the Titans, because I do need a new running back per se. Tyjae Spears suffered a high ankle injury. I believe we needed a couple more angles for that. I think we only had one angle there, but tell me what you saw.
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
Is it a high ankle? Yes. I'm not ruling him out week 1 yet. Look, in the NFL, the surest sign that you can watch the transaction, the transaction wires. You work out team works out a tight end. All of a sudden, one of their tight ends went down, right? And you can look at it. And this is the GM's job to keep them lined up 3, 4, 5 deep at every position. But I don't think the Titans need to look for a RB1. I think Tyjae Spears, the way that, yes, it was limited view. Yes, it's a high ankle, but there's different degrees of high ankles. Let's not panic yet on Tyjae Spears. Look, if we're drafting, and I did chat with Evan Silva a little bit, we'll have to get Evan on before the season. We always do. If Tyjae Spears drops in your draft, I wouldn't be afraid of him if he drops on this news.
And they do have Tony Pollard, Doc. I think the big thing for me would be maybe more catches for Tony Pollard, if anything, right? Like Spears still is a value. He's super explosive, much more than Tony Pollard. So if anything, maybe less catches in the backfield due to his cutting or just like that. Because like the new he's a key part of their offense, specifically in the receiving game, right? So
yeah, I'm just whatever your grade is on Tyjae Spears, I would not take him off your board.
Yes.
Maybe a downgrade slightly, but I would not take him off your board. I was looking at before we came on Rondale Moore, his knee injury. That's what I was looking at when we logged on here. Kevin Seifert sent it to me. Very nice of him. It wasn't his video, but looking at it, the body blocks it. It definitely is a form of hip drop tackle.
Yes, exactly.
He's got a significant left knee injury, MCL and more. More? It's hard to see based on the one video angle, but it seems like it's a pretty significant left knee injury. And I don't know if the NFL is reviewing that for a hip drop tackle and fine and what have you, but yeah, that's why they're very they're illegal now for that reason. They cause a lot of injuries.
And you said left knee, correct, Doc? Remember last year, left knee. Last year, right knee. He dislocated his kneecap in the training camp, and he missed the entire year last year. Didn't even play for the Falcons after signing them. So now this could potentially be the second straight year that he signs for a team and doesn't actually play a single preseason game for them, right? Which would be pretty interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen 2 years ago.
Well, I think this is like his first play back, right? I mean, that's
play back. Yes, it's just horrible. Yeah, he was a high draft pick. Yeah. Next one I guess we are down on. I guess if we're high on Spears, what we've always been down on due to his ACL plus was Brandon Aiyuk. You had Kyle Shanahan, he's very talk about coach speak. We usually have to write the news pretty quickly. I remember a couple years ago when Bosa tore his ACL, you're like, Taylor, you got to quickly write that ACL because in the press conference, Shanahan's going to say Bosa ACL tear, right? So he did mention Aiyuk, and he said on track for week 6. You don't usually get like a very distinct timeline, but Shanahan at least gave him on track for week 6. Tell me your thoughts.
Kyle Shanahan, and I don't know if it's Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch, or maybe they see things the same way. I don't know Kyle Shanahan. I know and love John Lynch, but Kyle Shanahan is graded do we call it high or low on coach speak in terms of injury? I mean, if someone is not doing a lot of coach speak and spinning words and use of words, does that make them high or low on coach speak? I don't know. High. Well, all right. I could see it either way, but the point is, among the coaches, I've noticed Kyle Shanahan seems to be more straightforward than most. Like he's not trying to play wordsmith a lot. We talked about Sean McVay. We've talked about others around the league. So I think it's very telling. He's saying like it is. He could be ready. He's on track to be ready week 6, but it's not week 1 is the point. Now, can you really week 6 is over 2 months away. It's probably closer to 10 weeks away. He's projecting. He's saying on track / could. He's not saying will. And he also did not say he will be 100%.
And that's what we've been saying all along in our Pro Football Doc fantasy guide, right, for the new season. Like you once you saw the ACL plus and how late it was in the season, you've always been kind of down on him to start this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Late season, is he a good receiver? Sure. Will he recover fully? I think so. I hope so. But it's not going to be early in the season. He's going to have to ramp his way up. And now the coach is saying on track, which is good news. Could be. I guess that's good news. Week 6. That's better than week 8, better than week 10. It's not a guarantee yet. But he's not saying he's definitely playing week 6 and he's 100%. Because he doesn't really quote coach speak.
He doesn't. And then he's been very honest also with his other injuries he's dealing with, Doc. Isaac Orendo, the running back, has a shoulder injury. He said 2 to 4 weeks. It's been 2 right now. We're looking at that. And Jordan James, other running back, has a broken finger, and he's going to miss multiple weeks. So CMC might be the number 1 receiver outside of Pearsall because Juwan Jennings is also dealing with I was talking to you about this, a contract/calf injury. We don't know which one it is, right? The next,
don't forget about my guy Kittle. He can use his ammonia poppers again.
Yes, he's excited about that. He said, "Bring your own ammonia poppers." He was tweeting about that. Yes. The one topic I wanted you to talk about, Doc, is the Detroit Lions player, Maurice Norris, who is now stable in the hospital. Tell me your thoughts of the game that was suspended.
Well, I don't mean to be cavalier. I mean, once again, my bad. I was in Mexico. I was actually sitting at a great dinner and, spotty Wi-Fi service. And I saw the stoppage of the game, and it was a big deal. And there was comments, his head hitting the ground. I think he actually suffered 2 concussions. The Lions player actually suffered 2 concussions on that play. He had the trauma where the runner kneed him in the head, and then his head then went back and bounced off the turf. So that's probably why he had the posturing, which thankfully does not mean long-term or permanent damage. It looks very scary, posturing in the arms and a little bit legs. And we'll all remember Tua doing that on national TV. It's good. Put him in a spine collar. He can't respond. Make sure there's nothing with his neck. Make sure there's, take every precaution. And the game was suspended, but thankfully he's recovering. Yes, he's in concussion protocol. Basically, he got a double blow, the knee to the head and then the head on the ground, a double concussion. Take your time, young fella, and get better, but not expecting it to be a long-term deal. It will, though, get graded as 1 concussion, not 2, because it's 1 overall incident. But that's probably what made it, quote, worse, so to speak.
One final major update. We've already sent a video out to everybody early in the week. Just talk to me your thoughts on Rashawn Slater and that, significant news. Like you always talked about, you always take one significant player that could miss out for the rest of the season or a couple games. This is a big one for the Chargers.
Well, the Chargers are on the unlucky side of things, right? Here's a key guy, their left tackle, and this is why you instead of this is why sometimes you sign that big contract and instead of getting the extra $5 million. I mean, when you're over $100 million, this another $5 million change your life. It would change our lives, but it doesn't change their lives, and to get the financial security of that. A very unfortunate injury. The only good news about it is I do expect him to fully recover and that he's got lots of time since it happened so early in the preseason, lots of time for next season. And, he's going to recover, but not this year. It's a big injury. The only good news, it's reliable recovery. Is in some ways the rehab is harder than an ACL in some ways. But the good news is the rehab is more reliable. And, what's the Chiefs' first-round left tackle from Ohio State, Simmons?
Josh Simmons, yes, yeah.
Yeah, he has a patella tendon rupture from college. And we said in our pre-draft analysis that he could be a very good player. He wasn't ready right now, but he projects to be ready. And because it's his left patella and he plays left tackle, that helps him, right? And I think he's the opening day starter for the Chiefs, and they may have plugged a hole there. So all is not lost to Rashawn Slater. It's just lost for this season.
All right, Doc, I just want to I don't have too much else here. I just want to make sure people go to SICScore.com. We have updates on Rachaad White and his groin, Jaden Reed and his walking boot, and others. Anything you want to add more, Doc, to the pod?
No, I'm good. There's always different stories and things coming up. I'm really looking forward to finish off our podcast. We're going to get Evan Silva on. We're going to talk to Aaron Schatz and DVOA stuff, and we'll bring on Steve Fezzik, and then we'll round out. And then we're going to get into our in-season pace, more lightning pods, news as it happens, breaking news, etc. We're going to have very excited to have a halftime injury chat with Steve Fezzik that will be televised. And then we'll have it on our streaming like the halftime injury chats. Our podcast format will change. It'll be appointment viewing on Sunday afternoon/evening, depending on your time zone, approximately a 7 p.m. Eastern time when we're down to one game. You can get a heads up on your fantasy for the following week and what we're expecting. And then we'll renew it on Monday as needed, do an update. And then whatever day of the week there's anything going on, we will do a lightning pod to catch everybody up whenever there is any breaking news. So looking forward to all of that. And then the big one that we're about to unveil, we've got the living document of the season injury preview. That's already at sicscore.com. But the fantasy calculator, really excited about the fantasy calculator this year. And we'll share it with Evan Silva and others. But instead of just looking at Tyjae Spears versus, fill in the blank running back, it's not just Tyjae Spears' health, it's the health of his offensive line. It's the health of the defenders and the run stoppers and the linebackers covering him in the pass. So we're the only service that will have not only health, not just running back questionable, wide receiver questionable, but a grade not only on that running back, but that week's matchup in terms of the DBs, in terms of the offensive line, et cetera, in terms of the health of the quarterback, all health-related factors that might factor into a fantasy projection for that week to help you decide between your RB2s or help you decide on, a daily fantasy, et cetera. I think we've tested it out last year. We're ready to release it this year. I think that'll be a nice tool for everybody to have.
And we'll have the rankings to associate with that we helped us get top 5 fantasy accuracy rating and top 50 in Fantasy Pros rating for pre-draft rankings too. So all of our information will be helpful before the draft and during the season.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll see you again before next week's formal pod. There usually is some news that comes up. This preseason has certainly seemed pretty active. And for you, Taylor, get some sleep.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.